So the third block that we're going to discuss today is the I'm Too Sexy block. And it's like that song, you know. This is the block where people feel like they're subconsciously scared that if they lose the weight, they will attract more attention from the opposite sex. And so what happens is some women have been sexually abused in the past and they'll put on 100 pounds, 200 pounds. Some women will be sexually abused and only put on just enough extra weight so that I'm not as attractive to the opposite sex. And that was my program for a really long time. I was sexually abused. And I didn't want to be overweight, and so I wouldn't ever let myself get past a certain point, but I always just kept this extra layer, just kind of like protection. And one of my first tapping mentors, he said, well, tell me about your first sexual experience. And I was like, oh, really? And he said, okay, if it's bad, we need to tap on it. And then we started to get into this sexual abuse that happened to me through high school and through my teenage years. And, I was kind of a promiscuous kid, and I just, got into a lot of bad situations. And, after, 5 or 7 or 8 years of that, there's a lot of memories that build up. And I needed extra weight as a form of protection because I didn't trust myself. And I didn't trust the people that I put myself around. And so I did, probably 10 hours of really intensive sexual abuse tapping, and my weight just fell off. I wasn't hungry for 2 weeks. I remember I could barely eat. It was insane how my hunger levels just changed. It was like subconsciously I didn't need to eat. I didn't need to hold on to this extra weight. And so my body just knew, okay, we don't need food. And within 6 months, I lost all the weight that I had, or it wasn't even 6 months, it was maybe 3 months. I lost like 20 pounds, had no idea how I did it, but I felt happy, I felt free. I was much more sexual with my boyfriend. I realized that I was in a relationship with a man who didn't like to have sex with me, but I liked that about him when we first met. And then all of a sudden I started to change this, and it was like, hey, what's going on? We're not having sex. He's like, what do you mean? This is what we've always done. Like, what? And I started to change, because I released my blocks around this. And we eventually ended up breaking up because, we just crossed. So this is probably this is always where I start with people who I work with privately. We start on sexual abuse. It's the one thing that if you don't resolve this, you won't ever get results with your weight, because you will always, always, always be fearful that something bad will happen, somebody will do something to you, you'll get more attention, you'll make that stupid decision. Whatever it is for you, that will always trump anything else, always.
When I'm in a relationship, it feels like that I have, I think I put on the weight so I'm not attracted to other people.
Yeah.
Like I'm tempted. I don't know how that is, because it's a weird...
So you're not attracted to other people?
Yeah, so I don't, like if somebody's attracted to me because I'm thinner, then I might go outside the relationship. So when I'm in a relationship, I think that it's something tied to that I gain the weight.
I don't trust myself.
I don't trust myself, that's it.
Yeah.
Okay, good, because it's all...
I had that too, and that could be part of yours too. So I had that one for a long time. Every time I get into a relationship, I would gain weight, but I would always cheat on my boyfriends. And so I'd be like, okay, well, if I'm skinny and hot and I get all this attention, because I didn't get attention from my parents, so I got it from men. And I still liked that even when I was in a relationship. And so I'd cheat on them, and then it'd end our relationship, and then it was like, okay, well, that's not safe. So I'm going to put on this extra weight to protect myself because I don't trust myself.
Yeah, that's it. Thank you.
I feel that way. Yeah, I had a client who cheated on his wife. He and his wife didn't have sex for like 10 years. He cheated on his wife. He had 3 kids. She found out, got angry, divorced him, threw him out or whatever, totally manipulated his children so that he didn't have a relationship with them anymore. And so what do you think he did? He put on 100 pounds so that he was never attractive to the opposite sex, because if he did, what was going to happen? He was going to lose his family. If he ever got into a relationship, he was going to lose his family. And so he ended up attracting women who just liked him at his bigger size because that was safer. There was this one memory we went back to. He literally stood on a bridge thinking about jumping off. That's a good reason to keep 100 extra pounds on. So, this is really big stuff. This is, and you can start to see why I always say the weight is your friend. And I know that doesn't, and I know that you hate it, and it's like this thing, I want to get it off of my body, I hate this. It is there for a good reason. You just have to find out what that reason is. And it's all about being a detective. And so that's the work that we do here, is that with these subconscious blocks, and these visualizations that I'm taking you through and the talks that we're having, you're going to figure out what it is for you, what your block is, what's stopping you. And then once you do, the weight falls off and it's done, Sometimes it takes, one session, sometimes it takes 2 years, But it does come off, it will, and you'll start to see progress little by little over time. So, and when we deal with these things, obviously you can see the people that are dealing with their stuff, these are deeply emotional, very deep-rooted things, and you might not be ready to do them all at once. You know what I mean? So they don't all come up to the surface right away, or if you clear some and then you have some more, that's normal. If they all come up to the surface, you'd be like in a psycho pen or something, someone would take you to the crazy ward. So these things will come up and you'll clear them when you're ready to clear them.